Hello, and welcome to Unexplained Possibilities Podcast. I'm your host, Melvin the Crimson Taurus, and with me, of course, is the mystifying dealer of mystic goods, the third-eyed mystic herself, the ever-so-lovely Neima.
Hello.
So, yes, as you guys can see, Neima is back, and we'd like to give big thanks to Bonnie for pretty much filling in for her. So, thank you, Bonnie.
Yes, thank you.
You know, I wasn't going to say anything at first, but I think, Neima, it's time we share the secret.
What's secret? Oh my god.
Well, the reason why you were gone was because you were training. You were training for a while, and you were training for this Raid Area 51 event.
Oh yeah.
And when the event occurred, she was the only one ballsy enough to actually storm the gates. She put that Naruto run, ninja training, everything to the test, and she actually got in, if you guys can believe it or not. But, unfortunately, when she reached, level 15 of the Area 51 installation, she got hit upside the head by some type of MIB, and she was captured. So she was there for a few days, and she had to literally claw her way out. And when she got out and felt that fresh air of freedom, first thing she did was she called me up and said, "Melvin." I was like, "Neima, oh my gosh, where have you been? I've been worried sick." She said, "Melvin, I need a hamburger." And that's all she
Stupid. Oh god. Did you really plan that out? That whole
No, I just actually made all that up right now.
Wow. Pretty impressive.
Thank you. No, but in all honesty, I'm happy you're back. It's been a while. And I bring up that raid Area 51 for a very good reason. And that is because it was total garbage.
Total garbage. They actually tried it though, right? Like,
Not
didn't they
really.
go and
Now, I'm
it
surprised.
was just like a festival or something?
Yeah, that's what they changed it into. Because I'm surprised and not surprised that you don't know about it, but then you know about it since it was around your neck of the woods. But
Right.
what happened was, of course, hundreds of thousands of people signed up and like, we're going to storm Area 51. We're going to get the information. We're going to do it and all that junk. They did nothing. Like, the creators behind it, I guess, well, it started off as a joke, and they didn't actually think that people would raid Area 51. And to their shock, yeah, people were going to do it, and then they backtracked and said, "Oh no, really, it's a festival, so we're not going to actually storm the base." And it became 3 separate festivals, one in Vegas and 2 of them in some small rural towns and stuff like that, music events and everything. And people did actually show up to Area 51. There were people outside the gates and everything, but
Right.
from what I understand, the only person arrested was someone who peed. Like, they peed on a wall. They got arrested.
Oh my god. Oh, these people.
So, yeah, it was a giant waste of time, and I did say in a couple of videos I did for it, I doubt anything would come of this, and sure enough, nothing came of it, but just a lot of letdown and heartache.
Right. Yeah.
So, I'm actually surprised that you didn't go to any of the festivals. Well, you weren't in town anyway, so it doesn't matter. But, yeah,
I'm
it's
over
just...
the festivals for sure. I don't like festivals anymore.
Oh my gosh, what's happening here? Why are you maturing? Stop it.
It's time.
I mean, is it though? Is it? But yeah, it was just a giant waste of time. However, saying that, it looks like it's probably going to become a annual event, I'm thinking. And for those those 2 small rural towns, if they keep it up, they're going to bring in a lot of money, because this is something that will grow over time. And I think with enough liquid courage throughout the years, there will be somebody who's like, "That's it, I'm doing it, let's go."
Yeah. Yep. I would
And
agree.
to that person, I salute you. So watch, it's gonna happen. I hope it happens. But with Area 51, anyway, I personally don't think it's actually anything there. I think it's a bit of the Kansas City Shuffle, and that is a lucky number 11 reference. So who's ever
Which
seen
I
that?
didn't get.
Yeah, I figured you didn't get it. So that's really a good movie, by the way. You should see it one day. Bruce Willis and a young, oh, what's his name? Lucy Liu is in it, and a young Josh Hartnett. There we go. Okay, that name might have gone over your head.
It did.
So,
No idea.
yeah, this is like speaking to Angie. So, okay, well, he's an actor. He was in that film, and we'll just leave it at that.
Okay. Cool. Good for him.
Jeez. Um, I don't even know. Okay. But yes, that was a lucky number 11 reference. Everyone check out the movie. It's really good. I just told you before we started some not so good news, and it's like history decided to repeat itself quite soon, and that is a story that happened in Fort Worth, Texas. It's a current event, still developing, and that is Fort Worth police officer, or former Fort Worth police officer, Aaron Dean, killed a woman in her own home through her window. And this is all captured on body cam. So what happened was a concerned neighbor saw that his neighbor's door was open and a light was on. So he got worried. He called the cops for a welfare check. And the woman was playing video games with her nephew, and like 8 minutes later the cop pulled up, and he's walking around the house, looks through the window, sees her. He gives one command and then shoots her in under 2 seconds after the command. It's like it's no time to react at all, and he just killed her. And they allowed him to resign. He wasn't fired. He was allowed to resign, and depending on if charges are brought or not, he could potentially be hired again somewhere else. But what do you think about that one?
Yeah, that's a tough situation. I mean, but regardless, why is it that easy to just walk in, see someone, and I don't know, see someone through a window and not even know the situation of what's going on and then just open fire?
I have no idea why it's so easy, and I wonder how the neighbor feels, because in a weird way, he's the catalyst behind it.
Right. Yeah, so she didn't live in the house? Like that
No,
was
no, no, that
just
was
she
her
was
house.
visiting?
It was
Oh,
it was
okay.
her house. The neighbor just happened to look out the window and saw that her door was open and a light was on, and it was at night.
And that's unlike her, I'm
Yeah,
guessing.
so I mean, it was genuine concern. I don't think malicious intent was behind it, but look what happened. And it's like, okay, well, now you're in a pickle because you're told call the cops for emergencies and if you need help and this and that. But then, we look at this day and age and I don't know, you second guess it. So if there actually is an emergency where a police officer is needed, you might hesitate to show up because the person who needs it might get shot and killed.
Yeah, that would suck.
You
That's the
think?
case for everything. Yeah, I do.
So I mean, what do you do in that type of situation? And it's no winning. It's just sad. But I will keep my eye on this one. I'm not sure if you said you knew about it or didn't know about it, but Amanda Geiger, the cop who killed the guy in his apartment, yeah, so she was sentenced to 10 years in prison. Chances are she will get out in five. What do you think about that? Because do you think
That's
that? Oh, what?
is that the one we reviewed last time where she thought it was her place and there was a confusion with that, or
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. So she um she got 10 years. But I'm wondering if it were someone like you and I who did it. Do you think you'd get 10 years and chances are you'll be out in five?
Damn.
Really, do you think that would happen? Would you be so lucky?
I don't know. Is that considered lucky? I don't think.
Yeah,
I
that's considered
can't.
lucky. She could have got 20 years to life. Not life, but like 20 to 35 years. Oh yeah, she got lucky.
That just makes me think. Why is this other cop just getting? He's like able to resign, and there's literally
Well,
nothing.
no charges have been brought up against him yet, so they're
Oh,
still
okay.
investigating. So
Yeah.
it's
So there might.
possible he'll be charged, but even then, accountability for police officers is pretty freaking low. Let's go on to happier things, to the fun stuff, the main show. Neima, I gave
Mm-hmm.
you homework.
Dun dun dun.
You did not complete the homework, not entirely, but for very good
I know I
reason.
didn't.
And why did you not complete this homework?
Okay, so I watched a little bit of Ghost Brothers, and then I did one of Ghost Adventures today because I tried, and I did one of Dead Files, and I started to have nightmares. So I decided that's not a thing. can't, can't, can't be watching these shows before I go to sleep.
All right, so yeah, I told Neema, since it's October and we're getting closer and closer to Halloween, of course, to watch Ghost Brothers, The Dead Files, Ghost Adventures, and I can't remember what the other one was. But anyway, it gave her nightmares, as you can see. But you watched enough to discuss some things. And first thing I want to bring up is, do you think that the paranormal investigations that the teams do from, we'll say, Ghost Adventures first, do you think it's legit?
Uh, yes. I think I like the Dead Files one.
Uh huh.
I don't. I mean, yes and no. Like I feel like some of it's fabricated, and then I feel like some of it could have potential uh, substance to it. I guess.
Okay, so I think with Ghost Adventures and Angie K is the one who really put it in the back of my head. And I think with
Mm-hmm.
them, I think they're legit. I do think they're legit, but I'm in agreement with her that Zach in particular over exaggerates a lot.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
he's actually in your neck of the woods as well. You might see him in his Lambo.
Oh
And
dear.
with the Dead Files, Amy Allen, I think that is 100% legit. I think it's
Yeah.
creepy because it is legit. And she she has a gift, and I I mean they don't really investigate, of course, but if we take everything they say for fact, which, I tend to do, I try to say, all right, until proven otherwise, you're real. The fact that she can go through the house, pick up this energy, some of it not so nice, and relay it back to a family, and you just see them emotionally just start to break, or just you see that relief, like we're not crazy. I mean, it's something spectacular.
Yeah, that girl, when she's talking to the family, she definitely has like expression like, oh my God, I was right. Or they were seeing the same things and she gets shocked a lot. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
And I know a lot of people, they get on her case because of her facial expressions and stuff like that. But
Mm-hmm.
after speaking to a few psychics and seeing them and everything, I think that's legit because they make faces. and they don't know they
Right.
make
Yeah.
faces.
Yeah. I feel like that would be a normal thing to do, especially if you're, because you're just going off of intuition most of the time, right? So
Yeah.
if a lot of stuff matches up, it's got to cause some emotion.
Yeah, I mean, unless, you're like me and just the Terminator and just, I feel nothing. Yeah.
Oh,
Ha,
God.
I got you correct, puny human. But seriously though, the Dead Files, it has a freaky vibe to it without trying to be freaky.
Yeah, that's the one that gave me nightmares for
Of
sure.
course. And I brought this up before we started recording, but I think part of that is because you yourself you're some type of empath, or you have something going on, and I think you're able to just feel energies and get a good sense.
Yep. Yeah, definitely. And I think that's exactly why.
So, saying that, it's like, oh, well, you probably should start carrying some stuff around with you to reflect things.
I know. Yeah, I'm starting to look into that after this book I read. I should probably. I've been wearing my one of my stone necklaces
Uh-huh.
for the past week, and especially when I started to have nightmares, I just wore that to bed, and it helped. But yeah, I need to be more conscious of stuff trying to attack me or get onto me. I don't know.
Yeah, well, you never know. It goes along the lines of this too. I think that sometimes if there's someone who is aware of the spiritual world or their spiritual surroundings, I think sometimes it's almost like a lighthouse in the middle of darkness, and all these spirits are just wandering, these energies just wandering around, and you you see this light, and it's like, oh my gosh, look, we can go there. And it just, you start attracting these energies, and everyone wants to be heard or felt for one reason or another, because you've been wandering in the dark for so long, and you just have nothing, no type of communication with the living.
Yeah.
So it could be something like that. But going back to the Dead Files, in Amy Allen's case, I mean, it's weird because sometimes there are spirits who just go right to her, and then she said other times there are spirits who hide,
Hmm.
and then when she starts describing some of the more grotesque and darker energies, and when I say darker, I don't mean darker as in opposite of light, I mean darker as in this dude is jacked. It's freaky, and they all look just disgusting. Like, they look scary, and it's like they intentionally want to scare you.
Hmm.
I mean, I know you only saw the one episode, but if you saw more, you'd get it. You'd be like, okay. I remember one time she discussed some type of entity that was literally hanging on top of the woman and sucking up her energy. Like,
Ew.
it was disturbing, and something else with like all these eyeballs and watching, and it was a tall thing almost like a spider, and these little goblin creatures and mess.
Yeah, that's so strange.
So, and now it begs the question, when we pass on, can we look however we want to look for whatever purpose?
Right. That's a good question. In that book I was reading, it talks about uh, etheric entities and elementals and desire elementals. But I mean, there wasn't no any mention of kind of different forms like that, like goblins or like spider, weird looking
Yeah.
stuff. I think they said angels, fairies, shadow figures, and like dark entities. But I would assume that if you're a shadow figure, you could possibly morph into grotesque looking things.
Well, I think all of them can. In my opinion, I think that Okay, so I think it's like this. I was watching a thing on angels, and she was saying that an angel, we ourselves, the human mind can't handle what angels actually look like. Because we just can't, and our heads would probably blow up. you know, so what a way to go, right? Exploding head.
Yeah.
But we see them how we envision them. So apparently, for me, I envision Raphael like Colonel Sanders. I don't know why, but it is what it is. So I'm wondering in a strange way if these entities, yes, they can change their form and look however they want to look for a certain purpose. But I'm also wondering if, depending on how their energy is, if you start feeling it on a spiritual subconscious level, you decide how they look in a weird way.
Ah, okay, yeah. Yeah, that would make sense because if guides tend to visit you, they're going to appear to you as something that you like or that you are familiar with.
Yeah, and versus something that just wants to, I don't know, suck your energy and is not very nice about it, might look like, well, yeah, the spider with 1,000 eyes. Oh, actually, now that I think about it, that is how it looks. Its actual form, it's not Pennywise the clown, but it's described as a spider with like a bunch of eyes and light and all that and endless.
Hmm.
Yeah, and if you see it for too long, you'll go insane and pretty much you'll have a aneurysm or something.
Ugh, that sounds
Yeah,
awful.
so yeah, there's that. Again, fun
Okay,
stuff, right?
well, hopefully I don't have any more nightmares tonight. Thanks a lot, Melvin.
I didn't. I'm sorry. Okay, but jumping to what else did you say you saw? You saw Ghost Adventures, Ghost Brothers. Was that it?
Yeah, pretty
Okay,
much. And
we'll.
the Dead Files I actually liked,
Oh, okay.
but it's just too much for me.
Yeah, it's too much. I love that. I'm gonna have to like put that on a shirt or something. Dead Files. Too much for Neima.
It would sell like hotcakes. I'm telling you.
Okay, so back to the Ghost Adventures then. Like, what did you think about that?
Ghost Adventurers?
Yeah, we'll get to Ghost Brothers. Oh, we are going to get there.
Okay,
But
wait. I don't know which one I saw now because I'm confusing them.
well, I've seen every
Um,
episode, so I could probably help you out.
Let me see what they look like in each one. Okay. Yeah, Ghost Adventures, I don't know. I think the guy um yeah, I don't think I like the cast, honestly. The main guy.
Zach,
He just seemed yeah, I didn't like him.
you know,
He made it difficult.
it's weird because I've noticed that either you like them or you don't like them.
Or you don't.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I like him, but I can also see where he just overdoes it, and
Yeah.
yeah, I can see how he overdoes it. I get it. He can become too intense and just, oh my god, guys, and he's always he gets possessed, or it seems like he gets possessed every single freaking episode after season, I would say season 8.
Hmm.
Like, it's ridiculous. The dude is always getting freaking possessed. I mean, I find it funny, and I think a lot of it's his imagination. But then, saying that, I do believe, because they've gone to many weird, haunted, active places, and I do think that he has stuff around him, and I do think that they might play games with him from time to time.
Mm-hmm.
But out of that group, I wish you saw the earlier seasons. But anyway, out of that group, Aaron is easily the one that everyone likes the most. No one says anything
Okay.
bad about Aaron, and he's the bald guy who is overly skinny.
Yeah.
So he's really cool. Oh, and chat, they're over there. They're going through some Zach memes. That's the other thing. Zach has a bunch of memes.
I bet, because he says, like his phrases, he just says stupid shit, but not.
But I like him. Like, I swear, I like
It's
him.
okay.
I would never want to emulate him if I were to get into the field. But I like. I'm charged up right now. Ah! Oh, I'm gonna I have to marathon them now. But now saying that though, what I do like about them is you could tell they're close. They've been doing this for years. They are close to one another. I think they genuinely have a passion, especially Zach, about the paranormal. And I think they truly do want to find answers. But at the same time, it's weird that I'm saying this, but I think they do too much with equipment. I think they rely on it too much. And I think that sometimes their excitement can corrupt the actual investigation. Or, excuse me, Zach's excitement can mess up the actual investigation. But it's a few episodes though that I will recommend, but you're not gonna watch.
Well, you can, yeah, go ahead and send them to me, and I'll do my best.
Okay, like in my opinion, they are legit freaky and just really good episodes. One of them being Goatman's Bridge which was a special, and that's a place where Bonnie actually went to.
Right, I remember that.
Yeah, so Goatman's Bridge, that's one of them. Gosh, I can't think of the name. The Ranch. I almost want to say Stardew Valley, but no, it's called Stardust Ranch. That's another freaky place. Pavaglia, this island in Italy. I think it's actually closed to everyone now, and they even destroyed the property that was there. It was just too much mess happening. The first episode, Bobby Mackey's, trippy as sin, and then Return the Bobby Mackey's.
Bobby Mackey.
And I'm trying to think of one more. But that's okay. Anyway, but yeah, I'll send you a couple.
Okay.
So, I I do want your reactions on that. All right, so now to my very, very favorite show, Ghost Brothers.
You had so much to say about them.
And it was only half said. That's the worst part. So, what do you think about Ghost Brothers?
I mean, well, I watched it after I listened to your spill. So, from yours, I think I already envisioned like something awful. And then I watched it. I was like, okay, maybe it's not that bad, but I totally get where you're coming from. So, yeah, I don't think they're like as serious about it as they should be. But I mean, maybe they're just, they just got their own take on it. I don't want to be too harsh on them like you were.
I was not too harsh, all right? Like I said, I quit the review because I got so fed up. If you want to see harsh, check out Demons and Familiars review. I mean,
I think I listened to that one too.
I openly admit with Melinda, I openly admit for that one, I was overly harsh. I openly admit that. I probably didn't have to say that her book was better than gouging your eyes out with daggers, but not as good as watching dry paint dry. So, I mean, that's a little mean.
Yeah, your comparisons were ridiculous. Like I think the first thing that I heard was short bus humor. I was so offended by that.
I'm sorry.
I was offended by that. I was like, what, Melvin?
Yeah, and then something about the Three Stooges. Actually, I'll go to it because I actually have this still written up. I was not a happy camper. We'll put it that way.
Yeah.
Like, that was just one of the few times where they just rubbed me the wrong way. Like, I just don't like them. I hate their show. I don't like them as people, and I don't like them. Like, honestly, if we were in a desert and I had a bottle of water and it could save everyone's life, but I had to share it with them, I'd spit in it and then pour it out.
Oh my God.
I don't
That's
like these
intense.
people. I find them so degrading and backwards. I think their show sucks. And like you said, I don't think they're serious enough. I don't say here we go again, Angie. Whatever. Oh, god darn it. Let's see. What did I say here? I just want to see what I said real quick. Um uh So, to save you time from hearing me rant on, I'm just going to tell you now I dislike the Ghost Brothers. I gave them 2 chances. I did give them 2 chances. Blah, blah, blah. Parody. Nope, that wasn't it. Oh, yeah. Okay, this, this is what I said. The show is a borderline parody of actual good paranormal investigation shows, and I hope that it will soon be swallowed up by the abyss of canceled shows and dead careers. It should have a spot right next to Brendan Fraser's and Rob Schneider's career. So
Yeah, that was pretty intense.
yeah, I wasn't happy about that. Hi, Brandy.
No.
But yeah, so what do you think though? This is about you and your thoughts.
I think I should have watched it before I listened to your rant because I think that affected my opinion a lot. But I don't know. I feel like they weren't as serious, and then they kept like talking about their like personal lives or like just more of a reality show than a ghost adventure show. But I mean, whatever. I don't want to be too harsh on them. I think you did you did fine.
Yeah, well, okay. Harshness aside, I'm gonna try and be as fair as possible now.
Yeah.
I don't understand why they don't have equipment. They have the bare minimum.
Yeah.
I don't understand why they don't set up static cameras in rooms that they're not in just in case. I don't understand why they don't have actual individual standalone EVPs or digital recorders, I should say, sorry. Digital recorders that they can place here and there. I don't understand why they're using cell phones for everything. It makes no sense. I just don't get. They're terrible investigators. I don't see why they're joking around so much. Mind you, I do know this is edited. I understand that. And I also understand that when you're on investigations and you have this heavy energy, you have to break it up. You have to have light moments. I get that. But for me, it just comes across like they're not showing enough respect to the investigation. They're not showing enough respect to, in this case, I'll use, they went to 2 very historical places that had slaves. So they're not showing respect to their ancestors, in my opinion.
Yeah.
They're not showing respect to the property owners, in my opinion. And I think they clown around way too much. Again, it's edited. I know it's edited. I could be wrong, and we're just seeing a little bit of it. And
Right.
I, I don't get it. I mean, I just don't get it.
And
They have a budget now because of Pilgrim Studios. Pilgrim Studios they're
uh-huh.
the guys who make Ghost Adventures. So I know they have money. I know they can afford this.
Right.
I don't understand why they have to dance around and sing like they're back in the freaking 20s and 30s. I mean, I really want to say some stuff, but I'm holding back. And
Yeah.
I mean, it's so, in my opinion, for me, it's just degrading and it's just so derogatory. And they're just 2 sentences away from saying, yes, sir, yes, sir. And
Oh
they
my
just need to be
God.
off air. That's how, like,
Huh.
it's just terrible, and it's just for me. It's just I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, and after you said that about the whole equipment thing, I started to pay attention. I'm like, you know what? They are dressed pretty nice. They do have nice watches. They have everything, but it's true. They're using that audacity, like you said, and really not giving their all to it. It seems like.
Yeah, I mean, I can understand if you don't actually have a budget. I get that, you
Right.
know,
Right.
and Audacity is fine for what it does, but let's be
Mm-hmm.
serious. I mean, if you're going to do professional investigation, you really should be using professional software and hardware and all that stuff. I should not see freaking Audacity on television.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't like. Oh, and then that's the other thing, and Angie K was the one who brought this up to me first. The chemistry between the guys, they've known each other for years, but their on-camera chemistry is terrible in my opinion, and it feels like they're so forced. And the jokes. Oh, I'm a black figure. You, God darn it! I'm
Yeah.
gonna have to make a part two of this review and just rant some more. I will
You
never
are.
upload it.
You are.
I, I don't know. Maybe I see it differently. I don't know. What do I know? I just
I think you see it from a different perspective because they're the same race. Like,
I suppose so. I mean, they're from. It's a whole. It's a. It might even be a regional thing since they're from Atlanta, I believe, and I'm all the way from
yeah.
California. But I was just raised a certain way. I believe in certain things, and I just noticed certain things. And I'm not gonna bring all of it up this episode. One day, I don't know. One day I might just do a solo show where just Melvin unleashes his fury on the world, and
Hmm.
hopefully we all don't blow up from it. Like, yeah,
Like,
Melvin.
you're going to blow up from it.
I'm not gonna blow. Well,
You
no,
know?
I need to get it out anyway, or else I'm gonna snap.
Yeah.
But
Melvin snapping. What's that going to look like? I'm scared.
but you know what though? Do you think those shows are real? Like, because a lot of folks say they're fake, they're staged. But you yourself, being that this was your first time seeing them, um, just ignore my influence and all that. Do you think
Hmm.
the paranormal reality investigation shows, do you think they're real?
You know, I think I remember watching it for the first time in like a dentist hospital. They had like Ghost Brothers on or something. Not Ghost Brothers, but Ghost Hunters.
Uh huh.
And just from that experience, I thought it was like all skidded. I didn't believe any of it. I thought it was all fake. And then re-watching it and like watching some of them now, I think they have real aspects to them. But at the end of the day, you're trying to create content and you're trying to create a show. So if nothing's happening or if you're not getting any feedback, I think they have somewhat of an obligation to make a show out of it. And in that could be a lot of fake stuff.
I will say this for Ghost Adventures and Ghost Hunters, they have uploaded, they have aired shows where they've literally caught nothing. And
Oh, do they?
yeah, they have done that. And, to add to their credibility, the most recent one with Ghost Adventures was one that was actually really worrying to where I think. Oh, and a lot of people think the mother might have been abusing her daughter. So the Child Protective Services, from what I understand, got involved. But yeah, they didn't find any paranormal activity or anything like that. But that was probably one of the most disturbing episodes I've ever seen, and it's one of the few that I will not rewatch.
Hmm.
Which actually, we should go into this. How much of the paranormal do you think is real versus how much is all in our heads?
Mm, good question. Yeah. Um, I don't know. I think some of it your mind could make up for sure, and then maybe I don't know. Maybe 50-50.
Yeah.
Who knows?
I mean, because sometimes I know that when tragic events happen in our lives, and sometimes we just can't cope, all of a sudden we'll create some type of defense. And, let's say, I don't know, someone steals the hot dog from me. I don't, it would be food, wouldn't it, Melvin? Yeah, well, anyway, someone
Right?
steals the hot dog from me, and I just can't get over it. And all of a sudden, next thing I know, I wake up and I'm a freaking psychic, and I'm communicating with the dead, and I can
Mm,
sense all these energies and living and all that stuff. So I don't think about what happened with the hot dog. I cover it up over layer over layer over layer. God darn,
yeah,
this
that's
ice cream
intense.
truck, man, go away.
Go buy some ice cream. Maybe it'll leave.
Oh, not from that truck.
Oh. Oh.
Oh,
Okay.
wow, I just realized what I said. Okay, so Bonnie, that was like a total mistake. I didn't mean to say hot dog. Great, now I'm choking on a hot dog. Oh, and I can feel Angie rolling her eyes. But Bonnie gets it. Little inside joke. Um, but yeah, like I do think that some paranormal events or some events that people claim to have or see aren't paranormal. I think it's in their head and they're trying to cover up for a traumatic event that happened in their lives. I mean, because, how can you cope with certain things? Like, especially if it's embarrassing. I, I mean, what if, heaven forbid, but I know it happens, but, a choir boy, priests, they molest them and they choose the boys because a guy is less likely to say something than a girl. And if they're not saying anything, how do they live with that? You try to forget it. And how do you try to forget it? Anyway, by any means necessary. And then you question, like, am I not a man? Do I like dudes? Do I not? You just get confused.
And
And
then you think that turns into maybe some hallucinations or
I
something?
think so. I think it's totally possible. I mean, of course, a study needs to be done, but I think it's totally possible that it could happen.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess I would somewhat agree with that, especially um, forms of schizophrenia or something.
Yeah, so I mean, it's really something to think about, and I kind of feel bad for the people because it's one of those things too where it's like, okay, well, you're not lying, but it's not exactly the truth either. But you believe it so
Hmm.
much that it is the truth.
Right.
So if you were a paranormal investigator, how do you tell someone that it might all be in your head?
Right. She's like, have you seen a psychiatrist lately?
No, no,
I
no.
don't
I'm
know.
serious. I actually asked that question to Sean Gilmore, who's a paranormal investigator, and he said that's one of the hardest things to do because you don't want to insult the person,
Hmm.
but at the same time you have to be truthful. And like seriously, how do you tell someone, hey, this is in your head, you need to seek help? I mean, not profession, not help like you're crazy, 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 but there's some deeper psychological stuff happening.
Yeah. I mean, when these people are investigating situations like that, is that's like a common possibility, I'm guessing?
I I think so. I think it's something you have to rule out.
Yeah. And then I mean, if you're a paranormal investigator and you bring in like a medium or whatever and you guys aren't finding anything, and if you're talking to the lady and you say, "Hey, look, like even my medium's not sensing anything or finding anything," is that when you and they're determined to say, "Oh, no, I see it. It's really there." Is that when you say, "Oh, okay, maybe, well, maybe
Yeah,
you should see a doctor?"
I think you start sliding that way. And for instance, this episode of Ghost Adventures where it was some funny stuff happening with this woman,
Mm-hmm.
you know, like it's a chance that, and she might not have known that she was doing it. I'm thinking it was on a subconscious level, but she may have been scratching her daughter and making her cry
Oh
and
no.
not even knowing she's doing it, and scratching herself even though she said that she couldn't reach her back where the scratches are at. They caught her on
Hmm.
camera reaching that spot and everything. It's like, oh. But the thing is,
Wow, that's creepy.
it didn't appear that she knew what she was doing. And then, in a weird way, they might reverse it and say it's the demon in me. It's like, oh Christ, well, this is a whole
Right.
different ordeal.
Yeah, how does that, I mean, that could be multiple personality disorder. Like maybe someone else
I
in her
mean,
head is doing it.
it could be. I really don't know.
Yeah, because if she's not registering it, it's probably someone else coming to the front of her consciousness and taking over for a bit.
So I mean, maybe I really don't know. It's just a sad thing because I don't want, depending on the situation, if it's like something like Casper that's moving, some eggs or something every now and then.
Eggs. Why would he be moving
I don't
eggs?
know. They just
That's
want to
so
move some
random.
eggs. I mean, hey,
Okay.
it sucks, man. It really sucks. And then I'm learning more and more things that are supposed to be demonic aren't really demonic. They're just very PO'd humans.
Right. Yeah, they're like leftover energy. That's just disgusting.
Yeah, so Neema, I do have a question for you.
Uh huh.
What would you do if, you're at home and all of a sudden things start feeling funny and weird activity starts happening? Like, what would you do? How would you feel?
If, well, I mean, so I don't know because sometimes I actually do not total weird stuff, but let's see. Like in my old house, and this was not too long ago, like well maybe like a year and a half ago. I woke up and there was a guy sitting on my bed, and he was staring at me, and it like scared the crap out of me. But I think usually when I feel weird or I feel like the energy's off in my home, I start staging. I start, like meditating, kind of just like putting good thoughts in my head and, wearing my crystals or wearing something that's going to help me stay in my body and keep me safe while I sleep and stuff like that. So I do like other stuff. I mean, and then I had a weird experience with a psychic. So I put like salt in front of my door. Like I just do certain things that make me feel safe spiritually.
Okay, so
If that
two
makes sense.
things. First is there was a dude sitting on your bed.
Yeah.
Okay.
He looked really scary, like really like just like hard life, like hard face, like really really tough. I don't know if it was that we had just bought that house. So I don't know if it was necessarily maybe he was from around the house or if he knew me, but I don't know what it was. It was really intense cuz his features were really strong.
What did you do?
What did I do? I woke up and I got scared and I was like, fuck. And then I was screaming for my boyfriend at the time. I was like making sure to see if he was in the house or not. And he was in the kitchen about to leave for work. So it was like 4 or
Okay.
5 a.m.
So, all right. Well, that's better than just sitting there and just covering your head. At least you took action, but oh my gosh. That's
Yeah.
freaky. I'm sorry. I'm trying to imagine what I would do if someone was sitting on my bed and they should not be there. They're not even physically there. Oh my gosh. That is scary. And the second thing is, you said you had a psychic experience and it caused you to put salt in front of the door.
Yeah, because that's I mean, so my friend recommended this psychic, and I was like, okay, maybe it's a good one because I'm always open to finding a really good one.
Hmm.
And so I went to go see him, and he was just definitely the type that was trying to, like, how do I say this? Like, dominate your personality and, like, kind of crack you
Ah,
and make you believe what he wanted you to believe, kind of type of dude.
okay.
And I was like, okay, this whole psychic thing sucks. Like, this sucks. And then he did, like, this maneuver in front of my forehead, and I told him, I was like, no, I don't like that. Like, we're not doing that. Don't do that to me.
Oh my god. No,
I
no.
was very rude. Yeah, because he was like trying to look into my eyes and like tell me, oh, you're gonna need me later, and like really fucking creeped me out. So I just was like, okay, I'm gonna take extra precautions not to let whatever this guy was doing or whatever he thinks he could possibly do inside my house, and I just wanted to leave it outside. So I did that.
Okay, I'm sorry, but I can't help but think he was like doing the West Side or something, throwing up a gang sign.
That'd be so funny. I'd be like, you must.
West Side,
Oh
that would.
my.
But
That would be awful.
but okay,
Yeah,
so
it's
yeah,
weird.
that's interesting. You had stuff. Oh, Bonnie asked if he tapped your forehead.
He didn't touch me.
Okay, so but I do know the eyes thing though, because Bonnie and someone else and a few other folks, they've all said they like looking into people's eyes, and as they say, the eyes are a window to the soul.
Mm,
So I can kind of understand that, but when you start throwing up the gang signs and doing karate mess, nah, we're
no.
done.
Yeah, I get the eye thing too, but for him, I understand when someone's trying to read me, but I feel like he was trying to, like, what is it? Put suggestions into my subconscious, like
Ah,
suggest that I would need him and like kind of like hypnotize me, but not. I don't know if that makes sense.
no, that makes
But
sense. So stay away from that.
yeah, yeah, that's the vibe I got from him.
Okay. Well, I always go with your instincts. Actually, while I have you, since you do somewhat, yeah, you're into the dream interpretations, would you mind if I asked the chat if they've had any dreams, if you would be able to interpret them?
Yeah.
If you guys have some weird dreams that you've had and you kind of want an idea on what they can mean, you know, let us know right now. You have an expert who is live on the air, and it's not me.
Gosh, don't gas me up. Um, did Bonnie ever answer that question about demon possession?
Oh, yes, but it scrolled somewhere. Sorry.
Oh.
Oh, don't worry. You can just reread the chat and you'll see it.
Yeah, I need to do that. Okay.
But yeah, this is Halloween month, and we are going to have a second show unless Neema has to go back to some secret training. And I think before we get to that second show, and while people are seeing if they have any dreams or whatever, I want to ask you, do you have any plans for Halloween?
Oh man. Um, I did, but I'm not certain if I'm actually going to go through with them. So
Oh,
I might just stay at home
like
and do some rituals or something. I don't know.
this is like some deja vu stuff. I'm pretty sure you said the same thing last year.
Yeah, well, I wanted to go out and like I was planning to go to LA and go out with a few friends and dress up and have a good time, but I've been trying to sober up lately, so I don't think me going out and partying for 2 days straight is the best thing to do.
Okay. Um, I have no comment on that, so we're gonna go to the dreams here. So, first up's Bonnie. She says that she was kicked in the middle of her chest and it woke her up physically, plus, she never remembers her dreams. She was kicked very hard. She didn't see the person the foot was attached to.
Oh, that sucks. I mean, but I really wouldn't know if there's no connection to the foot. Like, was she? I need some background. Was she in a karate studio? I don't know.
Did I say she was an expert, folks?
I'm not an expert, but kicked in the chest, that's, I always feel like every time I feel pain in my chest, especially when I'm sleeping, it's because, I get that feeling that something's probably trying to get into my body or
Okay.
astrally.
Bonnie says she was investigating. So,
Oh,
yeah, so think that, I
cool.
guess, haunted house location. And then we're going to
Mm.
do Brandy next. Oh, Neima, anything?
Uh, do you feel like maybe there's a weak point in what you're investigating or in your own personal thing? Like maybe they got something on you that they can have the upper hand, I guess? Because kicking you in the chest is kind of kicking you out of what they have or that position. If it's a scary place or a haunted place and they're kicking you out of it,
Huh.
do you feel maybe weak or you feel drained or maybe that you're not powerful enough to do strong investigation? I don't know.
Actually, I would take that another way. I think you're on the right track with that. I would
Okay.
say it's more like not being in control of life.
Hmm. Mm-hmm.
No, I do think you're onto something with that, though. So, okay, Brandy, you're up. So, Brandy says she's had multiple dreams and being in an abandoned school or old hospital. Her dreams lately have been hard to tell versus reality. Oh gosh, that sucks. Also, water park slides within these older places and snakes.
Mm. Water park slides in these places. I want to look up abandoned places because, see, I'll tell you the key words or the key things that you should research in it that might help you get down to the meaning to it. So you should look up abandoned places, and with the hospital and the snakes, there could be a symbolism of healing, probably some growth and knowledge uh, in there. Since the hospital and I'm connecting the hospital and the snakes together, but there might be some importance of these abandoned places of why all these places are abandoned. That's the similarity in that. Water park slides, though, if the water park is abandoned as well, that would connect that. So I would look into those two things. I'll look it up right now. Okay, so this is abandoned house, which I automatically thought of because sometimes if you're in an abandoned house, it's a reflection of you, like the inside of you, your whole system. But belief systems, yeah, way of living, relationships. So, but these are a school and a hospital. So those are places whether you're doing some healing or you're learning. So maybe I feel like you got a lot of learning to do and some growth that you're possibly going through.
Dude, that's scary how actually accurate that is from a certain point of view.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Um, all right, so William Bennett. I like that name, William Bennett. That sounds very familiar too, but that's a powerful name. Who are you? William Bennett, punk. I like that name. So, William says, once in a blue moon, I have an individual that pops up in the middle of my dream and looks over my shoulder and smiles. It's weird because that individual is so out of place.
Looks over his shoulder and smiles at you.
Yep.
And is he? walking away? Is he like far away from you? Is he sitting close? Is he
Well, William,
does he
you'll have to answer that one.
does he okay, so in this one I would pay attention to whatever feelings you get, like the initial emotion that you get when he smiles at you. But looking over your shoulder makes me think of looking back on things, reflecting.
Okay, William says it's kind of like when you're sitting at the computer and someone looks over your shoulder at what you're doing. Does that help?
Oh, okay. So you're doing something and he's looking over you and smiling.
Almost like an
Okay.
approval, I
I
guess.
Yeah, yeah. So I think that just means that maybe you're trying to, you know, do something. Maybe you're working on something, or spiritually, even. Sometimes I feel like a guide would look over you and kind of approve and see what you're doing. Maybe if you're the type of person who needs that reassurance, or wants to know that they're on the right path or doing good. Maybe that's an affirmation that you are, or you're on the right track or something. It also depends on how you feel about it. So, you know, that could mean, give it meaning.
And Dr. Dino says, one of my dreams when I was young, I had to sit and watch my grandmother cut into her face. Oh my gosh! Cut into her face and feed her face to her old dog that we took care of. Think like Hannibal Lecter type.
Ew. Jesus. You know, the subconscious is so weird. Like, why does it have to go to that limit? Why does it have to go to that extreme? Because you couldn't, like, tell me it in a different way. Jeez. This is so intense. So the grandmother cut inside her face and gave it to her dog? Gave it to the dog? That's crazy. Let's see. Cuts. Do you feel like your grandmother was too giving? I don't know. Went out of the way when she shouldn't have? Maybe over. Yeah, that one's intense. I mean, I'll have to look into that one. Maybe I'll have an answer by the next show.
And okay, I'll remind you of it. And he follows it up by saying, it is more better than my dream of having the doll from Dead Silence chasing you through a forest with 2 or 3 people, then being eaten by a shark.
Jeez.
Dino,
Your
I'm
dreams
gonna
are
recommend
intense.
you lay off the drugs.
Right. Can you, like, yeah, I would be meditating, like, look, subconscious, okay, we got to get one thing straight. We need to calm down.
Oh darn. Okay, so back to his grandmother, he said that it's a dramatic atmosphere, like the lights on her, and he was staring at her, and she was staring at him.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we're definitely gonna have to get back to you on this one, Tino, and we're probably gonna give
Yeah,
Mia
have some
nightmares
space.
now. So, way to go!
Right. Hey, maybe I'll dream of the same thing and then it'll just hit me and I'm like, oh, I've got it.
Yeah, but I am gonna do a follow up on this one for you, Niam. I hope you don't mind, do you?
No,
Oh,
not at all. Yeah, I like doing that stuff. It's interesting.
and
But let me know if I was close or not even close or it makes sense.
yeah, I think this is one that's. And finally, Ghostbuster said she had a dream that she was snuggling a tiger and then it bit her neck.
Oh yeah, snuggling a tiger. I have a lot of dreams about tigers and cats. So for you, I would look up big cats, whatever it was, if it's a lion or a tiger, as your spirit animal or a spirit totem. Uh, I think that's sometimes where it goes. But sometimes, I mean, just the tiger or a lion in general is a very powerful being. And I think in my dreams too, I would get close to them, but I was still terrified that they would hurt me. But those are good dreams to have, I think, if I can't remember. I have this spirit book that I should look into for, yeah, lions. But those are good.
So, okay. Thank you, Neima. Appreciate it. And thank you guys in chat for sharing. We appreciate that, because dreams are private and no one really wants to share them, especially if they're kind of odd. And Dino, yeah, Niema's she'll do some research to give you a better answer and all that. So, and you can count on her unless she goes on a secret mission. Can't help it. That happens.
Did she say it was a lion or a tiger?
Tiger.
Okay. So curiosity and fearsomeness, it's the feeling of raw emotions and power. That's what they represent.
I like that.
So be in your emotions.
So, and you know what? I think this is a good place to end it, even though the viewer count went up again. God darn it. Oh, well, you got to get here earlier. And, well, no. In order to do that, so you can know when we're going to go live and when we have shows and all that stuff, you're going to have to follow Unexplained Possibilities on Facebook and Twitter. And actually, normally this is where I sign off. But wait a second. Mystic Dealer, you. What's going on with you? What should people know?
So, as I do, I design journals. I'm currently waiting on a shipment of design journals, and then I'll be doing custom ones. So pay attention, probably late November and all throughout December, I'll have a lot more custom ones made, as well as some designed ones for sale on the store. And I will be providing a discount in December for the holidays to anyone who listens to the podcast. You just listen to a specific episode, then we'll give like a code or something, and you guys will get like 20% off.
So, but you guys get on that. If you haven't seen her journals, be sure to check them out. They actually look really cool, handmade, which is awesome. None of that mechanicalized nonsense. Neima, where can they find you if they want to get in contact?
Okay, so if you want to get in contact with me, I'm at Mystic Dealer and on Instagram. That's where you'll probably be able to contact me the easiest. Other than that, www.thirdeyemystic.com. And yeah, Third Eye Mystic on Instagram as well.
All right, so there you go. Don't forget to like, and if you haven't, please subscribe to Unexplained Possibilities. And thank you all for showing up and listening and having a good time with us. This was awesome. Really appreciate it. So with that said, remember guys, there are things that go bump in the night. Go ahead and tell them hi. Bye everybody.